All right, so good afternoon, Team Red Cross. This is our second update of the month. As you know, we do two updates now on first Thursday and the fourth Thursday. And this is one that's intended to be a little bit longer than the first one as far as time length. So I got a few subjects today that I'm going to talk about, and then I'll turn it over for Q&A. So let me just start with safety. We just had another accident this morning. That's why I was a little bit late coming to work, and we had multiple fatalities. And I'm just asking again. I don't want to talk on this long today. We got to slow down out here in streets and highways. I don't know what else to say at this point in time. I would just ask if you have any recommendations on how the city can help everyone slow down. Please let us know. We've tried to stop signs, and of course, we implement crosswalks. We put more police presence. But for whatever reason, our accidents are ticking up again. And they're not just fender benders, they're high-speed accidents. And like I said today, I can't say location. I can't say what time because it's under investigation right now by the state. But like I said, we had multiple fatalities, and I'm pretty sure once the investigation has been completed, they're going to tell us speeding was contributed mainly to the accident. I just, like I say, it's very disheartening because these are one of the areas that we can really fix by just driving the speed limit, being observant and following all the speed safety measures put in place by like stopping at the stop signs. Every day I see people just roll through the stop signs still. I just can't figure out why we can't stop at the stop signs. It takes like 2 seconds. Same thing with the stoplights. As you know, we got many of our stoplights could probably be better located because our roads could be bigger and all those things that you can contribute to some of the issues. But at the same time, if the stoplight is red, just please stop. I don't know what to say. This is, you look at our charter, not our charter, you look at our priorities, our mission statement. Safety is foremost our first priority. And I just, like I say, we need some help with this. And I'm reaching out again. That's all I can say. Please slow down. We're heading to the summer months. We're gonna have the kids out walking again, and I'm really worried. Everybody should be worried because it's your children, your family members, it's your fellow brothers and sisters out here driving these other cars. So just slow down. And with that, I'm gonna go. Can we load the daily update? Is that ready to load up? And I just want to take a few minutes to talk about the daily update. We've had some questions and concerns about what that entails. And I'm not going to go too far into what it entails. At the meeting next week, when we do the working session, we're going to go into details about what's on this daily report. We are going to add some additional features to it to make it more specific when reading, so you know exactly what we mean when we say heavy equipment is in zone 2 or zone 3 or zone 4. So if you didn't know, I'm not going to go too far on this because it's still pre-decisional with the commission. We have 4 zones, and each zones, can have up to 2 to 3 districts in there. And we just take all our forces and we deploy them all in that zone that day, and like as much as we can that day. And pretty much, we've been doing this for a few months now. We've determined we can do the whole district in one day with all our forces deployed there, and then we move to the next zone and do the same thing. And then we have that one day that's free at the end to where we can go back if it rains or we miss something or if it's a special event, go back there and kind of clean it up. And also that is also our maintenance day or recovery day for our workforce. So it's been working very well for us. But when you look at the city update, you'll see it might say we will be in zone 2 today. And zone 2 could just mean the whole west side or the whole east side. Like I say, we'll get more into this at the next meeting, but I just want to touch on this briefly because it's very important that you all understand first where your tax dollars are going and how we deploy them as far as operational day-to-day stuff. And in those zones, we hit everything, not just like grass cutting. It's going to be cement repair, utilities, things of that nature. Now, this does not mean that we stay in those zones. We do have other situations going on that are ongoing. So if we have a leak identified in zone 1 on Monday, we're going to keep working that leak throughout the week. We're not going to stop that and go to zone 2 until it's finished, if that makes sense. Hope everybody can understand that. But it's important that we do this, and we'll also talk about this during the finance briefs coming up over the next few months. This allows us to save on one of our biggest costs, which is fuel. Gas prices continue to rise, and once again, being transparent. That's, like I said, that's our biggest cost to the city. It's going to be fuel. So we're trying to really find ways to cut back on our fuel usage, and that means kind of being in the same areas and getting that work done and kind of moving methodically throughout the city versus trying to spread thin everywhere and just kind of use more gas in the process. So that's another reason why we went to the zone concept. One, it gives us more capacity and flexibility. And two, it allows us to save on our fuel usage, which is really big for the city right now as far as saving monies and funding moving to the next budget year. So I just want to touch on those 2 points. And I forgot to mention earlier, like I said, I really only have 3 points today, and then I'll stay on for any questions and answers today if anybody has any after that. And I'll probably repeat these 3 subjects a few times just to give anybody a chance to get on and watch if they want to move forward. So next, I'm going to move to our budget process. And this is not meant to be the actual budget process. I just wanted to give our citizens a quick brief or update or overview on the budget process itself, because it's starting right now. And that way, when those meetings come up and stuff like that, you'll know to make those meetings and kind of get what's going on. You also have time right now. If you have some concern with your budget, you can come talk to the finance director or myself or your commissioners or the mayor and provide some feedback right now before we get to the month of June, July, when we're trying to process the budget and approve it. And then we have a bunch of questions coming in. If you start right now, we can actually build your questions in to the process. And something we're going to do a little bit different this year is we're going to live stream some of those meetings that you can see, live stream the meetings outside of the regular meetings, being the commission meeting and working session. But we're going to live stream some other meetings where I talk directly to the directors about some of our budget concerns, constraints, and some things that we're trying to change to get more efficient and once again, save more taxpayers' dollars moving forward, because that's the goal this year, is kind of to divest from things that are not working or costing us money and invest in new technology, being more creative, scheduling, benchmarking, all those things that can make us more efficient and save money for the citizens while getting the things you want to get done in a timely manner. So I hope that everyone can understand that. Like I say, I'm going to be real brief with this budget update. But I got a few slides. It's about 20 slides. Like I say, I won't talk through every slide. So we're going to go to the next slide. And that's just saying, why do we have a budget? And I'll say that here. Of course, the main reason is to, and it says it right there, to foster public trust and transparency. That's the main reason. We want to make sure that we're transparent with your tax dollars, your utility fees, your fines, all those things that bring in funding for Wake Cross to work. I want to make sure that you understand what that is. One of the first things that we did when we arrived here 2 years ago is put the budget online and put our audits online. There was a time when the information was not really available to every citizen. And now, like I said, you can go on to our webpage and you can pull up, I think it goes back 6 budgets and maybe 5 of the audits, or close to those numbers, or 4 and 5. But you can go back and look at those past budgets, and it'll give you a picture of kind of how we got, to where we are today, at least for my 2 years here. I will say, to really have knowledge of certain things in the community, you got to go back, decades of budgets to understand. I do have some of those budgets on hard copies. If you'd like to see those budgets, stop by my office. You can grab a copy. You can't take it with you because we're gonna have a few copies, but you can read it there in the office, and maybe that can provide some further details you might be looking for as far as why the budget works. But again, our first primary reason for the budget is to keep the trust and transparency that we need as a city government organization to provide you with the next goal, services. So that's why we have a budget. That's the main 2 reasons. We have it for other reasons. It's law. You have to have a budget. That's another reason. But these 2 are main reasons, trust, transparency, and to facilitate services to you, our citizens who provide your valuable tax dollars to make everything go here in Waycross. If we go to the next slide, and I won't read this verbatim, but this is the executive summary, and this is just me as the city manager, kind of explaining, how the city runs, why the city runs, and what goes into our mission and vision statement. At the end, I kind of talk about our budget. I'm going to leave it up there for you to kind of read, because this is a living document, so it's still evolving. It's because it'll be presented to the commission starting next week, and then each budget meeting we'll start with these same slides as we present the budget. And this slide deck, like I said, right now it's about 20 pages. By the time it's done, it's probably going to be 50 pages. But the good thing is it'll answer a lot of questions that you might have as citizens about our budget process. And again, I ask you, don't wait until this is presented or until we in the month of May or June and going through the actual voting process. Reach out to your commissioner now if you have any budgetary concerns or if you have any budgetary recommendations, because this is a team effort and we always look for feedback to make things better. So that's just kind of the executive summary. Like I said, I'm not going to read that in too much detail. If you get a chance to read it, it just kind of links our mission, our vision, our capital improvement program, our budget to our theme of divesting and investing. And we go to the next slide. And I know most of you have seen these next few slides during our meeting. Those that watch our meetings or come to our meetings, this is our city priorities. And these, once again, these are ever evolving as well. Our main four bins, of course, are service delivery, infrastructure, quality of life, and city workforce. And within those bins are sub priorities, and you can see all those listed there. And for the purpose of this conversation, I'm talking about budgeting, which is in the city workforce bucket over there. So these are our priorities that the commission decided on 2 years ago. They remain our priorities. Over time, we've added a few. We did add homelessness and gangs and drugs probably about 2 months ago, and a few other things. So, but these are our priorities, and these is how we kind of shape our service delivery to citizens within these groups of priorities. So, and again, once we present this to the commission a few times, hopefully you can resonate with you better on our priorities. And also, if you think these priorities or we need more priorities or it's a different priority, just reach out to us and let us know, and we'll kind of take a look at it. The next slide, and again, you've seen these slides before if you come to the meetings or you watch the meetings. This is what I call our roadmap. These three arrows, and they talk about the short term, the midterm, and the long term. And then if you remember those that came to the meetings, and you've heard the discussion before, we always working on a 10-year plan. This is our 10-year plan, kind of put together in bullet format. Of course, there's way more dialogue behind these three arrows, but this is just a snapshot of a 10-year plan. And if you look down at the bottom, I kind of circled divest and invest. There was always a goal coming here. Initially short term was those first 1 or 2 years, my 1 or 2 years, and we covered most of all that in that red arrow. And now that we're into the what will be the orange arrow, hopefully it's seen by you. We're talking about the things we're doing from year 2 to year 4. And the big thing in there, innovation, modernization, infrastructure, and definitely divest and invest. And I'll talk more about divest and invest later on these slides. But I want to show you that it's always been the plan as briefed to the commission and approved by the commission because we want to stay to the plan. That's one thing that I've learned since I've been here and watching other cities grow and get better. You got to have a long-term plan to stick to. Each time you deviate from that plan, and we have a history, unfortunately, of deviating from the plan, you can set back, whatever intention you had decades. So my goal, well, not my goal, I'm hopeful that, there's a chance that I might not be here once we get to the 4 to 10 years, and if I'm not here, then, hopefully that next city manager or who comes in behind me can pick up this plan and keep moving forward with it. And, or that next commission. That's one thing I got to say. The consistency between commission and commission is critical to the operational success of the city. And I think we're all learning that right now. about how important it is to stay aligned with your mission and your vision, and then making sure that's that's put down on paper, and then the city manager enacts on it. So, like I said, we're in year 2 to 4 right now. You can see some of those things we're doing right now. If you're really tied and connected to the city, you can know firsthand. I'll point out one right now. We're completing automation updates of all our systems and programs. We're going to everything digital. We got a new software program coming in. It's going to be what has been difficult to integrate because, change is change, and sometimes change is hard. So we're doing that process right now, but it was much needed. We had some very, very outdated systems as far as computer software and things of that nature, technology. But that's a really big deal right now. I'm looking at some other things. Develop and implement a long-term financial strategy. We're doing that right now as well. Like I said, and I'll hit on this later on. Some of the goals of maintaining a long-term healthy financial strategy is, making sure you got different pots of money and resources to pull from outside of taxes and utilities and fines and fees. And that's something that we got to work on with the city. I'm very transparent when I say that. We definitely got to do better. Well, we definitely got to find better ways to use different pots of money, that being in the form of grants, things of that nature. But I'll hit on that in a little bit. So, and of course, long term, that's 4 to 10 years. Hopefully, not hopefully. Once we get there, we can discuss that in more detail. If we can go to the next slide, and I see a question came on here. Let me get through these slides, sir, and then we'll answer that question. Budget introduction, and a lot of this on these slides I pulled directly from the GMA website. I want to make sure that I did not put any personalization from just from me on here. So a lot of this is GMA recommended, also from other cities. So we kind of use their terminology, their definitions, and then for the most part, their practical exercises to make our own budget. But this is saying what the budget is, and it's like I said, I won't read it right now, but to you directly. But it does fulfill several important functions. Of course, our service deliveries, maintenance. Just making sure it's balanced. The big thing, to make sure our staff is paid. And you've heard me say it before. Right now, we are in what we call wage inflation, and you can almost say wage war. Because, a lot of wages are not, living up to the cost of living. And that's a bigger problem that I won't discuss here. But, we're not unique from that or in that capacity as a city. All cities, definitely small cities, are facing that right now. We're trying to keep and retain the best quality workforce by paying them and providing benefits, but at the same time, trying to maintain a budget that fulfills the needs and requirements for the operational part of the city. So, and as always, the budget cycle is continuous. Like I say, it's very continuous. We're always trying to reinvert, to change, I guess, on the go if we can, because sometimes we have to with budget amendments. But in those situations, like I said, back to transparency, we always, come on here and do live streams. If something changes or those that come to the meetings, we'll discuss it then. If we can go to the next slide. And these are some key terms. And once again, if you can read them for yourself, it just talks about, what a budget is, the calendar, expenditures, expenses and funds, liabilities, revenue, fees, taxes, sales tax, all those things that we use to put in the budget. And it's important that don't just look at these terms, go further, do your own research, because expenditures can mean a lot. If you look at the definition right now, it's a lot in there, although I only put one sentence: assets, debt services, capital outlay, in the government grants, entitlements, shared revenue. It's a lot to process. But this year, I'm going to try to do my best of explaining these definitions of key terms in as best detail as I can, because I think I lost everyone last year just using these words without really explaining what's behind them. And I recognize now how important that is to go back to that first slide about gaining the trust and transparency of the community. So I'll make sure we do a better job explaining these key terms as we move forward with the budget process. And the next slide just talks about property tax and sales tax, those things. We know property tax is a big one for everybody, and sales tax. So these two are on the page by itself, not on purpose. It just they was the last two terms I added, but I fully recognize they're probably the most important because everybody wants to know where their property taxes are going and where their sales tax is going. So when I brief the commission next week, I'll have those two definitions broke down even further to explain where are your sales tax goals once you pull that out of your account. But once we collect the sales tax, I'm going to show you first what it is. It is SPLOST, it's a transportation SPLOST, it's an education SPLOST. It's all different forms that comes out of that sales tax to go to different accounts that we use to run the city. But I know that one's very important, so I'm going to take extra time to present what that is, as well as property tax. I know a lot of y'all, we had a lot of issues initially with the property tax discussion, but I'll go into that a little bit too to tell you how property taxes or real estate taxes really work and how they apply to the government, how they apply to the government as far as revenue. Next slide, local government funds. These are important, and I ask everyone to, in your spare time, as a matter of fact, if you look at this slide right now, you can see the GMA website. Just so we all have the same information, man, go to that website and look at what it says about what the general fund is, what a special revenue fund is, what a debt service fund is, of course, capital projects or capital gains projects is, permanent funds, proprietary and fiduciary funds. These are our main funds. We have a few other funds not listed on here, but these are really our main 7 funds that make up the budget. So, and it's really important that you understand these types of funds so you can better see how that connects to the whole budget process. So if you got any spare time, I know there's a few of you out there who are really concerned about the budget process, or even those that are novelists and just want to learn more about finances. This is where you start. Like I said, go to that website. I wouldn't trust AI on this level. I know AI can pull up definitions for you as well, but for this particular reason or subject, please just go to the GMA website and look at those fund definitions, because that's very important for you to understand the total picture of the budget. I know we often have citizens make statements about being blunt and honest about either taking money or stealing money, moving this. We got some strict restrictions on what we can do on funds, and most of these funds here, they serve their own purpose, and I can't just move $10 from the general fund to the special revenue fund, or take $100 from the water and sewer, or take $100 from the general fund and put in the water and sewer fund to pay for a damaged pipe. That's all audit subjects, funding. So and it's tracking system there too. So we just can't do it because we want to. It's ways and means to this stuff, and I'm hoping that this year we really explain that to everybody, because being transparent, not trying to offend anybody. I'm not sure everybody truly understands the budget process. I know last year we sent out a survey last year, and 75% of the population that did not 75% of the population, 75% of those that did a survey admit they didn't understand the budget, they didn't understand the funds, taxes, anything like that. And again, we want to make sure we do a better job this year of explaining that stuff, because we got to make sure everybody has the same amount of information so that trust can be established. We'll go to the next slide. Who does what? And it's just saying what the finance director does, the department heads, myself, the mayor and council. But then down the bottom down there, I hope you can read that. I know it's small. Public input. We look for public input. Like I said, we're trying to do some. I'm going to jump off the budget presentation real fast. We had our first meeting about business licenses. We have meetings about code changes and ordinance changes, and we rarely have anybody show up. So maybe have 1 or 2 people that's been dedicated since I've been here to try to make that change. It's hard to do that, and we're a small staff. we're a very small staff. I don't have the bandwidth to put somebody solely by themselves to go through that charter and figure out everything. That's why we need community support on that. Like I say, and we've tried different times. We tried lunchtime, we tried evening time, we tried Saturday. Again, I would just ask, help us figure this out, because what time works? Because we really want to, and we record these and we live stream too. So you don't have to be at the meeting. You can just chime in through live stream. But we really want public input. We definitely want public input moving forward, not just the budget process, but all our processes. Like I said, those who've actually sat down and talked to me, you know how big that charter book is. And if you don't know, we have one of the largest charters for the smallest city in the Southeast, and that math doesn't work. And one of the things the commission has charged me to do is kind of make the charter smarter, which I'm doing. So, and with that said, we can move to the next slide. And it just talks about what a fiscal year is and a budget calendar, and everybody can read that. Different cities do it different ways. Some use the actual calendar year, January through January, and then some use a budget year, maybe October through October, July through July, June through June. Ours typically begins on July 1st. Next slide. And before I get to the budget process, the actual calendar, I'm gonna answer some of these questions. I see we got concerned citizens on here, so I'm gonna read these questions, kind of answer some of these questions. So first question, the budget, it has to break even. So that's the goal, to make sure it break even. So zero sum. Yes. So so the auditor, we had an audit. We had some recommendations. We try to make those recommendations. Some of those recommendations can't be made like that same time, real spaced. It might be fixing the process. And I'm trying to think of one of our processes. Well, one of our processes that we are fixing based off of the audit recommendations and just my observations as well. That goes back to my comment about having the updated IT systems. Where you can route all the training actions in a timely manner. You want to have, we had an old system, just being honest. So our new system will ensure that we do track everything, and we can give options to our customers and citizens when they got paper stuff. So that was a recommendation about modernizing our systems. That's been a recommendation twice, and that's something I'm trying to work on now. It's just taking a little bit longer than I thought it would be. Yeah. So the comp plan or strategic plan, it's not on the website right now. I don't have a paper copy. We'll look to put that on the website as soon as we can. I'm trying to go through and just validate, if it makes sense. Our comp plan has a lot of what ifs in it, or possibilities. And I'm trying to go through it now and trying to make sure that the what ifs are really possible. And I said it earlier about a true grant program, because when you read the comp plan, the way it's worded right now, you're going to think that, hey, y'all could do all that. Hey, y'all could do all that. But in reality, we can't. It goes back again, if you've been following me, those who've been following me, about even all the grants that require matching money. We just don't have the matching money a lot of times. So we can say, well, just go put a grant out for that. But if it's a 10% match and it's a grant for $1 million, I got to find $100,000 somewhere. And a lot of times we just don't have that money floating around. Back to that first comment about the budget being in defect or break even. We don't typically break even to around the months of pretty much March and April. That's when the revenue and all catches up with the expenses. And then we kind of break even by, close to the new calendar year. So, yeah, but I'll make sure that we put that up there. And that's actually going to be in the budget book this year. The comp plan is going to be in the actual hard copy. So that's something we're trying to do as well. So if it's in the hard copy, once we get the hard copy scanned online, it'll be on the digital copy as well. And let me go see this last question. Yeah, so we have those things. We have a mission and vision statement. And okay, y'all can't see, or some of y'all can see the question there. That's something that we can look at as far as the vision board. We might be having different understanding on definition of that. But needless to say, we'll look into that, and I'll give you an answer to that in a little bit once I get done with the rest of my presentation. But that's a good suggestion. So back to the actual brief. So that's the budget process, and that's kind of what happens throughout the year, as close as possible. I don't want to say we're locked into these months, but we try to be in these months. We try to make sure that we are locked in these months. Like I know it says down there that we have a budget survey. I know that's in the charter. It hasn't went out yet, but it will go out soon. Like I said, we did last year, and that's just asking the citizens for just gauging their understanding on the budget process and certain things. But that should go out hopefully early next week. It's like 5 questions. So if you get that budget survey, please fill it out, because once again, we do take the information back to the commission and then incorporate it into the overall budget process. All right, and we can go to the next slide. And this is kind of one of the things I know I went long-winded on everything here. But this is our theme this year. And our theme is divesting and investing. And I'm going to cover what that is in the next couple of slides. But that's the main theme, divesting and investing. And of course, it's improving citizens' quality of life, elevating our workforce, modernization of operations, and addressing our failing infrastructure. I want to be a dead horse. Y'all heard me discuss this over and over and over. Of course, our priority will improving citizens' quality of life is always going to be safety. Make sure you have able to drive through the streets safely. Fire, police support, community involvement, all those things. That's in there. Our workforce. We got a small workforce. I'm asking them to kind of do more with less, which is a huge task. We already got a small workforce trying to cover a big area, but I am very confident in our workforce and your workforce. They all love the city of Waycross, so they're going to figure this out. But we are going to do more with less this year, and I'm proud to say that up front because I know that's going to happen because we have a great workforce. And then modernization of operations, just like I said, when I first got here, and I'm not throwing stones at our past anybody, because I'm pretty sure the more and more I learn about City of Waycross, each of those previous city managers, finance directors, all those individuals tried to update the systems. But like I said, the money wasn't there. It became a choice of a bad road and a new computer. You're going to choose the bad road every single time. But at some point, we do got to get modernized with technology so we can be better. So I'm coming here now, and that's what I'm trying to do, both at the same time. But I fully recognize that the challenges and all the work put in by those before me, because they did a lot as well. But we're trying to take a different approach to things moving forward. And of course, our infrastructure. Our pipes, 80, 90 years old in some cases, and it's just hard. And they're all breaking at the same time right now, which is costing us a lot of money. And I can't pretend like that it's not a scary problem, because it is. But we're trying our best right now to put a plan in place to kind of, buy the stuff in advance and not to buy it like the same day, because that's going to cost 20% more. We're trying to get a starting point or a fixed point in the city and just work our way that way, instead of jumping all around the city trying to fix everything, because we might fix a meter or a culvert or a drain or this on this side, but because everything's connected, it doesn't matter. It's still gonna be the issue. So we've learned a lot about how to approach things, and we're gonna try some different techniques this year in regards to infrastructure, making it better for our citizens. So those are that's the big thing, divesting and investing. Let me move to the next slide and talk about divesting. And here I kind of mention what divesting is, and maybe move to the next slide there. So, and the main thing is moving from policies, procedures, practices that subtract from the city's overall mission and vision. And I didn't put the mission and vision on this slide deck, but I'll go back and make sure I do that so those that don't know what it is can look at it. But we had a critical point here in the city of Waycross. And I'm not sure how to articulate that any better than what I've tried. we definitely made some bad decisions, like every city has in the past, when they try and do the right thing, and they trying to take everybody's feelings, concerns, wants, hearts, desires into account. But unfortunately, there's always second, third effects of those decisions, and that's where we are right now. And I don't want to use the phrase "kicking the can down the road," but because that's easy to do. And like I said, I'm giving grace to everybody who's ever been a commissioner, a mayor, a public works director, anybody, because it's hard. It's hard to figure this stuff out because somebody is not going to like it, and it's slow, and it's not sexy because everybody's not going to see this stuff. They only see the tangible stuff. But I sat down with my directors, and I've got feedback from the commission. I've done some research, and these are some of the areas that we're going to move away from. When I say move away from, we're going to better manage, get rid of, or find an alternate, or just make a better practice. And I'm not going too far into these. Like I said, tomorrow, I believe the director's going to do a live stream, and they will talk about this specifically because I want you to hear from them as well. I don't want to pretend like it's a city manager show because it's not. I get guidance from the commission. I get guidance and feedback from our citizens, and then I take it to our workforce. And everybody on this workforce has a vote, and we all sit together and we try to think a plan out. So some things that we gotta divest from. I'm gonna be very, very vague on these things. Just our biggest costs. It's gonna be our salaries, that's benefits and wages for our workforce, and then fuel. Those are our two biggest costs, hands down. We can't really touch the salaries for our workforce. We can't fire people because we have enough people already. So, but even with that, we gotta be creative on figuring out better ways to get more done what we got. But with fuel usage and vehicle usage, we just got to cut back on some things. We got to find a better way to route, better way to drive. Just a better way to cut down on fuel because we already know our biggest fuel is going to come during these storms, and we probably use more fuel during those 3 storms than we use the rest of the year. And I know it seems like it's not possible, but it is because we got to keep generators going when power's out and all these things. So we got to figure that out. We're going to divest away from some of our charter stuff that doesn't make sense because that's costing us money too. To do stuff that doesn't really make sense or make the city better, but we're still forced to do it because it's law. And then energy, workforce delivery. I already talked about overtime and salary restructure, contract management. We got to do better with our contract employees. Some of our business practices, I discussed that early, about really getting our business licenses more digital, not just business license, just the whole overall process of collecting money and getting fees and services. And then the big word down here, inflation mitigation. Those who have listened to me talk, I've talked about not building in inflation into any of our business practices. That's one thing that this year we'll do. That's going to be hard. That's going to be felt a little bit, but we have to do that so everybody can know the real cost of their services and their fees and their fines, and hopefully they appreciate how much stuff really costs and how much the city typically eats or has been eating for all these years. And we're just at a point, quite frankly, that we cannot eat anything else, any other costs. We gotta figure this out. But I don't want this to be seen as negative because it's not. It's just right now it's us getting smarter, better, and more efficient. And I hope everybody wants to be that way or get to that point because once we do, everything will work much easier within the city. Next, investing, and this is the big thing, probably the most important thing. When we divest from certain things that cost money or cost time or cost resources, we're going to reinvest that money in other places or invest that money if we had never had an investment to begin with. Workforce training. I mean, I'm going to try to get select employees more training because I want them to have more knowledge on how to do things better. We've had some great employees here, but a lot of them have learned from the supervisors before them or on the job right there in the foxhole. And there's training that can show us better ways to do things. I just want to make sure that our workforce has that training. So you're going to see more people training. I know as a group of citizens don't like that. I think We shouldn't be going to get training or do it online. Just being honest ain't how it works. Sometimes you got to be, face to face with the training to get the training. That's what we're going to do. I thought about workforce salaries. Once again, we're going to try to reinvest in our salaries by perhaps maybe combining some positions. Looking at how supervisors work. Maybe do we need one supervisor, two supervisors? How we can save money? We're going to look at that. And that way, if we can spread additional salary to other employees, we might do that too. But that's something we're looking at doing. Of course, retaining, we're recruiting and retaining the best workforce. Benchmarking and scheduling. This is a big one. These last 2 years, we've been kind of, when I say benchmarking, I mean taking note of, things that happen in the city during operations. And I've been kind of looking at what happens during the months of, let's say April and June. I already know now that this is off subject, but the river is right now, it is higher than it normally is. So it takes a little bit for our water to drain. We did some study on that stuff. So right now, I can do everything I want to do as far as the drainage, but the water still can't get out, But I also know that typically around, April, May, the river, it decreases and the drain works faster. So I got to kind of always look at it that way. So that's kind of one of those things where you benchmark the months and the times when to deploy your services or your operations. I hope y'all can understand that. I can lose people sometimes on that, but it's just important that you benchmark when things happen, trends. You gotta follow those things so you can prepare for them each year. That's what we're doing right now, and then we schedule differently based off of those benchmarks. Technology, maintenance, funding, resources, operational, strategic alignment. All those things about getting smarter. So you're going to see us take a way more aggressive approach to invest into these things. Like I said, my director is going to talk about it tomorrow on their live stream, and we're going to do a monthly live stream from them. If I ain't mentioned that already, they just kind of fall at the same time, and then they'll take some questions and answers as well on their particular departments, and that way you can get a better understanding of how they see the world as well. All right, not been long-winded. I hope I ain't lost anybody yet, but this is the part, like I said, it ain't sexy, so nobody want to listen to it. But then when it's time to apply, everybody has questions. This is the hard part right here. This is the part of making the, making the eggs, cracking and making the eggs, before we can get them done. So we have to do these type of things to make sure everybody's coming from the same place of understanding. Next slide. And these last few slides, I'm not going to go into them too much. It just talks about revenue and expenses. And once again, from that first question mentioned by that gentleman, we got to have a balanced budget. Everything got to balance. So this was last year's budget, so this number's going to change. But the revenue has to match the expenses, and we gotta make it as such. That's why we call it a balanced budget. So, and like I said, I'm not gonna go through the rest of these slides because they're kind of ever evolving. But I wanted to take a minute. Actually, I took more than a minute, but I wanted to take some time to kind of just start the conversation about the budget process. So starting next week at the next commissioners meeting, we'll probably start the budget process. We'll start talking about the budget in detail. And then we have a city retreat, I think on the 11th and 12th of April. We'll talk about the budget again. Then we'll come back from there and we'll have other budget meetings with the directors and then with the commission. And then hopefully around the end of May, early June, they'll pass the budget and then we'll go from there. So before I go to the additional questions, I'll, I got to double back on what I said on the first area. So again, we did have another accident today. And unfortunately we had multiple fatalities. And like I say, it's just hardening at the same time, very frustrating. Cause I know when I say stuff, I look at some of the comments on there when people be joking about stop signs and us trying to, get money by giving out tickets. I wonder sometimes when they actually know, people have died because people were speeding around here or running stop signs and running lights. And if they did, they probably won't make those jokes that are really, not warranted. But like I said, we lost some people today. I don't have the specifics right now. I'm just gonna ask again, please observe all the posted safety signs. If it's a stoplight, if it's a crosswalk, if it's a stop sign, if it's a yield sign, I mean, whatever it is, I need y'all to really start, helping. We need y'all to care about each other, man. I just don't understand so much speeding, all the speeding we have here, and our roads are only so long as far as distance, and we have people just really, really speeding. Like I said, it's costing lives. So at some point, everybody care about this, and we got to quit talking about it. So yeah, and then just on our daily update. Like I said, we got a zone concept. We'll explain that more at the commission meeting. Just want everybody to be aware of that happens. When they see you might see more forces deployed in one location versus another, but we do move each zone every day. We got 4 zones that we operate in, which is excluded from certain ongoing projects like street pavements. That's ongoing, might not be necessarily zone specific, but we have that going on. And on our daily priorities list, we're gonna make sure that kind of depicts that more than what it has in the past, so nobody gets confused on how we are doing operations within our city. And the last thing, I just did a quick update on the finance briefing. Like I said, it just me giving and I know this was long-winded, and I don't know if it's seemed detailed to you or not, but like I said, it's gonna get more detailed and more long-winded. But like I said, if people are really concerned about this budget and how the city operates, I ask you to be part of it. Come to the meetings. I think we have meetings specifically set aside so you can speak on the budget. Come to those meetings early and speak. I will ask you to bring your notes and bring your solutions as well. And then again, before this even happens, you can come see me. Open doors always open, or the finance director. Or if you have a solution or a recommendation for one of the department heads, we are here for you to talk to you. Now, if it's something universal, then or just your district, man, please go to your commissioner. That's their primary job, is where it's listen to you and get the feedback to the city, and then direct me what they want me to do. But let's be a part of this year. We got some tough decisions to make this year. That's why I'm starting early as possible right now with my communications. I don't want any misinformation to go out there. I want everything to be out there up front. We got some serious things we got to look at this year. Definitely on my part, as far as how to conserve funding on overtime, wages, fuel, all those things, and at the same time reward my workforce for being the quality and great workforce they are, because they deserve everything they get, and more. So it's a tight balance that we got to navigate through, but it'd be easier if everybody understand that. I mean, my workforce, citizens, everyone. So, like I said, that was a small. And when I say quick, that was 40 minutes almost. So just imagine when it's the whole slide deck. And like I said, tomorrow, I think at 12 o'clock, I'll start it off with a few comments. I'll hit these slides again. But the main comment is going to be my directors kind of talking about divesting and investing. And then they'll give you a quick update of what they got going on in the city. As far as their directors. So, like I said, we're going to try to do that monthly. So it won't be just me always on here talking to be everybody. And you get direct feedback for some of those directors that you might not know because you don't see them every day. So I see we have one question on here. Let me read this question. Well, 2 more questions. Okay, Ms. Ray, thank you very much for your comment. We're trying. We're trying our best. Like I say, effective communication, transparency is the key to understanding and shared understanding. And that's our goal. Partnerships. Yeah, that's a good comment too. I think maybe I should, I'm going to pass that comment on about strategic partnerships to my business integrations and information systems director, because that's his job to, get with Walmart. And we actually do. I'm going to use Walmart because I know right now we get a lot of calls. I know I get calls every day on Walmart. So I will tell y'all this. We're trying to speak to Walmart, but that's a corporation. I hope everybody can understand what I'm about to say. That's not a national corporation. That's a world corporation. I am frustrated too. I shop at Walmart, they are going through a pilot right now to look at like we're doing, like everybody's doing, look at how to save money and cut costs. with I think they check out lines, their number of cashiers they have during the rush hours, all those things. I would say this, not knowing what's really going on all the way, give them some grace. I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt. They're trying to get more productive to better serve us. So, but I understand the question. So I would definitely pass it on to Director Simmons about maybe doing a briefing with them to just explain how they're trying to help us, if that makes sense. And then with the other businesses, we have other organizations or the Downtown Development Authorities, the Downtown Development Authority, the Waycross and Ware County Authority, and a few of the Merchants Authority, a few other authorities that kind of do that part of integrations. And we have the mayor sit those boards. I sit those boards sometimes. So that's our interaction. Could it be better? Yes. We had the chambers. Could it be better? Yes. And we're always trying to work to improve on those relationships. And like I say, we'll make sure that we follow up with definitely the Walmart conversation, because I know that right now that's big. I get at least 3 calls a day. Well, not a day, my bad. 3 calls in the morning and 3 calls in the afternoon. So I guess they coincide with coming in the morning time and then coming in the evening time about what's going on over there. And we'll try to get some feedback to y'all from that. But with that, that's all I have for today as far as my briefing. And I took the whole time of the day with them slides, but I really hope that this is. I know it's quick and I didn't cover a lot, but I hope they can at least facilitate the beginning of some good conversations. And those who were last year and watched the budget process last year, y'all know it was not ideal. I own that too. We had a lot of stuff going on during that time frame. It is our goal not to do that ever again, and just to get to the budgeting part of the meetings, answer the question that need to be answered, and then get that budget approved so we can go ahead and move on to other things. And that, with that saying, we need your help. Like I say, reach out to your commissioners, the mayor, myself, or my finance department, our finance department, and we'll provide feedback. And then before I just sign off, again, safety, y'all. I don't know. Like I'm saying, I feel like we made leadways in so many areas. Definitely communication, definitely transparency, definitely relationships. I think we got a better relationship with a lot of organizations around here. But for whatever reason, with this safety aspect of speeding, I just can't seem to make a dent in it. And like I said, it's a little frustrating. So if you got any ideas to help me out with this speeding, help us out. Chief Cox, our police chief, he doesn't sleep either on weekend. We both don't sleep on weekend. We just, because we know it's going to be an accident or somebody's, rounding the lights off or, just all kind of stuff. And it's like, how do we stop that? And I think it starts in the homes. Definitely on young drivers, it's not like us growing up, and I'm in my 50s, but, back in the day, if a car started going over 50 miles per hour, you could feel it. These new cars, you can't feel it. It could be 20 miles or 100 miles. They feel the same. Technology's done that. And then for some reason, they don't know that you can't stop immediately, and it just keeps going, and like stop signs and rolling stops and, blind spots and blind sides, all those things, though. Let's talk to each other, especially our young drivers and our older drivers. We got to be conscious of that too. But this is a community problem that we really got to address together. So just please, again, man, slow down. It ain't worth it. It's not worth it, And with that, I got 5 minutes. And those who are new on here, I always gauge myself. I have a lot of questions. That mean, I guess I didn't do good in the briefing, but no questions. I guess that means everybody like the answers, but it's hard to tell some days. So, but I'll sit here and wait to see if we got any more questions. I hope I answered the questions on here as best I could. And again, one thing I do this as well. I go back and look at these videos. I go reassess the questions that were asked, and I try to answer them in the comment sections once I kind of sit down and really think about what was asked. And then if you're watching this now and you go back and look at it and you got a question, and please come back and put that question back in the comment section. We always view these for at least the next couple of months. I'm not going to say that we go back and look at it a year ago, because we don't. But we'll go back and look at it for next few months to make sure that we answer any other questions that might have came up from this particular live stream. So, all right. And we didn't have a lot of people on today, which is fine. I mean, it's the end of the month. I think everybody getting paid Friday, maybe. I'm not sure how that works, but everybody's looking forward towards the weekend. Some other little notes. Swamp Fest starts next weekend, I think. And the kickoff is tomorrow. Yeah, the kickoff is tomorrow. So I know last year we did a kickoff at City Hall. This year they moved back to the pavilion over there in the park. So if you got time, please come to the kickoff of Swamp Fest. I think we'll have music and food and a good time. And then with Swamp Fest, please support. You know, I'm not sure who's gonna be at the Dunkin' booth this year. Only thing I know is not gonna be the city manager. Everybody else on staff, if you've never been in there before, it's your turn. So jump in there. You might want to go first. I say it like that. But won't be the city manager this year. But we always have fun. We're doing that. And Swamp Fest is a big event. Bring your families out. It's good food there. Smoked turkey legs and everything you can think of. Funnel cakes. It's always a great time there. They have games and prizes for your families. And the pre-kickoff won't be that as big, but it will be fun. And then with that being said too, this is always done downtown. Please support your local business downtown. They need your support. As part of the finance briefing, when you look at the book, it'll talk about local business support in there once you get the book finished. I know everybody wants to have every store here possible, but they won't come here if they don't see the stores already here getting support or making profit. So it's just not about wanting stuff to come here. They got detail analysis they use to see if it makes sense to come to a location. So if you can, support local business as much as you can. And I try to get around and every day eat somewhere different or buy soda somewhere different, because that goes a long way for the marketability of that business. And our downtown, it's all downtown. And I mean that all parts of downtown. We got, different locations, but it's still downtown for me. So support downtown as best you can. And especially this weekend and next weekend, we're going to have a lot of fun out there. And then we're going to try some different events moving forward. I know the first Friday, at least on the one side downtown, fell off, but we're going to look at ways to pick it back up, because we need to. And with that, I don't see any more questions on here, so make sure. Okay. Somebody's texting me too. I don't know what. I mean, you have to all look at these texts when they come in just to make sure before I sign off. Okay. So, question about jobs, or text about jobs. We're gonna do a post next week. It's gonna talk about, and this is I'm stepping way out here myself. We're still working this about jobs coming to Waycross. It's gonna give you a time and a date and location, and we'll have the appropriate people there to talk about what jobs coming here. I'm not sure if we're gonna live stream it. I'm not sure what's going on yet, but we hear you. We acknowledge you want to know. It is important. And we're going to figure out a better way to get the information to you, so everybody's in the know. In some cases, there will still be situations where we can't, let people know the exact business until it gets here. But in other cases, we'll be there to let everybody know. So anyway, next week it'll be a post, and talk about that. And we'll, hopefully when that meeting is, that location is determined, you come to that location, and we'll provide the information that you're seeking. And make sure that was the exact question that this citizen was asking. All right. Oh, it's 1 o'clock. Okay, that was quick. But hey, Waycross, thank y'all very much for chiming in on this briefing. And I want y'all to have a great day. Once again, be safe out there. Slow down. Get to where you're going. Love each other. Watch out for each other. And let's continue to build each other, and build the city of Waycross. Everybody have a good day. Thank you very much.